Thank you for joining us this morning. We have 93 viewers now, 95 viewers and increasing. I think we can start because people can view the rest of the video later, and I know you're a busy man and there's a lot that you actually need to get to today. So thank you to everyone that's joining this live interview with Reyno De Beer, who's up in Gauteng. I'm in Jeffreys Bay at the moment. Reyno, thank you very much once again for what you and Liberty Fighters Network is doing for the country. You know, many of my supporters ask all the time how you're doing, how Liberty Fighters Network is keeping up with all the work, the court cases and everything that you're doing. So just a quick brief question, how are you doing as a person, Reyno De Beer?
Thank you, Des. No, we keep on going, and it's marvelous where we get the energy from. I've been saying this from the start when we started this. This is I truly believe that what we are doing is inspired by my faith in God. So it feels like this was a total calling, and we can't stop now. Well, where we are at this stage is that it's now more than a month that we are waiting for the judgment in that very important case of ours. It's totally unlike Judge Davis to take so long in giving a judgment.
Yes.
Anyone who followed him or his career, going on the internet, Google a bit, have a look at his interview when he was when he wanted the permanent job as a full-time judge of the Gauteng division of the High Court. He specifically said there that one of his advantages is that he can write judgments very quickly. We've seen it in the first two instances where he wrote the judgments within a couple of days, and it was very good judgments. But now, unfortunately, a month down the line, we are sitting with no judgment. And now we know that well, the minister's legal team specifically said so, that they basically went to level 2 as a sort of settlement in that case. So we know that our court case was contributing to the fact that we went to level 2, and most probably now it seems that we went to level 1. But the judgment is not there. It seems like this judgment is by someone behind the curtains. It's used as a negotiating tool. That's very fine, and we feel flattered if that is the case. But the fact is that logic tells me that if it is used as a negotiating tool to go to level 2 and level 1 and to level XYZ, whatever will come from this, it means that our judgment was in our favor. And it means that it can only have been in such favorable position to us that the judge recognized that there is no valid regulations at this stage, because, as we have argued from the very beginning, saying that according to us the disaster management regulations stopped and became unenforceable since the morning of the 24th of June 2020.
Yes.
And yeah, it's very much frustrating, and we are sitting here like everyone is asking us, everyone believes that our court case was helping or was not, it had no purpose because the government is just doing what they want. In some sense, people are right, but if you look into the case much deeper, then one will realize that our case was really a thorn in the feet of the government. It should never have been there. It was never planned to allow people who are laypersons to go to court and suddenly get this judgment against the government. The Supreme Court of Appeal case is already going on. The government already lodged the records, meaning that they've got now time to present their heads of argument, and then we've got time to present our heads of argument once we've received theirs. But that process is going to take months, if not years, to finish, because even if there is a judgment eventually by the Supreme Court of Appeal, either way, in our favor or not, this matter will go to the Constitutional Court. It must go to the Constitutional Court. I think that's a given. But if we are talking about going to the Constitutional Court, we are literally talking about probably years to finalize this case, and hence the reason why we decided to do the Section 18.3 application in order to get something out of this this judgment that we received. So unfortunately, there's not much that we can give feedback on in relation to our court case, but in relation to what we are busy doing elsewhere as Plan A, B, C, D, E, and E, there's quite a number of things happening behind the curtains once again, as you have highlighted in your previous video, in connection with the letter that we sent to the president. So let me stop there and wait for your questions.
Yes. I think that letter was absolutely brilliantly constructed. Many of the people that gave me feedback said it was very well thought out, that there was even some humor. They see some humor in it. They can see your character coming through, and that the people like your character and your wisdom in the way that things are being put together. Because I think a lot of people don't understand behind the scenes how complex things actually are, and the deep knowledge that you actually not only have of South Africa and the legal system, but of the world, to actually come up with these plans specifically and meticulously. And many people want instant solutions, but there are no instant solutions, are there? I mean, we need to do things one thing at a time. Your thoughts on that?
Well, there are instant solutions, but then it will land us in jail. But that's a problem. The government knows that. So they are doing all these things in a script-like way. They physically stay on the road as they were told to do, and anything that's trying to get them diverted from their actual script and their goals that were given to them, they totally ignore that. They are much better than the resistance. Let me call us, who are opposing the government's workings at this stage, the resistance, because unfortunately we get derailed all the time. The moment when there's a guy by the name of Reyno De Beer suddenly making a video, for example, of that, this is now the final stages and I'm going to announce something on Wednesday, then this whole country is going in a vibe, and yes, Reyno De Beer for president. But the moment when you see who Reyno De Beer is, then you wonder, okay, what is going on here? Because it seems like people somewhere maybe confuse Reyno De Beer. I don't know Reyno De Beer. I'm not related to him. But it seems as if Reyno De Beer was specifically put in there to confuse the people, to believe that maybe he's me. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that we are extremely ignorant and we are gullible at this point of view.
Absolutely.
We want a solution, but we don't know how to get it, and we are sitting with the problem, and I really see this as a major problem, that the moment when the liquor and the tobacco bans were lifted, it seems as if most of the people said, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Ramaphosa, for doing this. We are so grateful." And everyone went and started enjoying their lives in inverted commas. Now they think the lockdown is over, now that they've got their liquor and the tobacco. But the problem is, what people don't realize, what we have seen now happening in Britain. Yesterday, they went back to a hard lockdown. This can, now that we're in level 1, there's a great possibility that they're going to push, as we already see happening, they're going to push the PCR testings like mad in order to get people positively tested for this mysterious COVID-19, whatever it is. And just to say, "Oh yeah, you see, we went back to level 1, we gave you your freedoms, what you wanted," which was never actually a freedom in the first instance. But now, unfortunately, you have witnessed what happened, and now we must go back to a level 5. We haven't invented or put the regulations for level 5 yet, but we now going to decide what level 5 is, because many people think that before the 29th of April that was level 5. No, that's not level 5. Level 5 is yet to come. And if we don't stop this in its tracks now, and while we've got the forums to do it, we better do it, and everyone needs to support us. And not us, but similar organizations who are doing, I don't know of any other organizations actually, because I'm a bit, and I'm going to say this openly, I'm a bit cautious about Move 1 Million. They have highlighted that Liberty Fighters Network is part of them. We never formally joined them. And what they are doing is, for us, according to us, a total distraction of the actual problem that is currently happening. We need to be cautious of following organizations which, the moment when you see protests happening, and they are telling people you better wear your mask and there must be social distancing between one another, you must be cautious, because those people are actually advocating what the government wants you to listen to hear. So we totally distance ourselves from Move 1 Million. I don't care whether they don't want to share our stuff anymore. I really honestly don't care. As I've said, between our people in Liberty Fighters Network, even if we only have a small group of 100 people thinking alike and going straight line, keeping our morals and our ethics alive, we are a winning team, and we will stay a winning team. So what we've done with the letter that you spoke about earlier is that we want justice. It's time that the elephant in the room needs to be addressed, and that is the participation of what is known in the newspapers as the so-called Stellenbosch Mafia, the Rupert and Oppenheimer family specifically. They have been part and parcel of this government since the National Party, and even before were in existence. It's not something new. We know for a fact that during, people think that Kudesa were held in the early 90s to negotiate the democracy of 1994, the alleged democracy. We say no. People, if you go in the archives of the ANC itself, you will see that as early as I think 1982, 1983, several meetings were held between the South African government and the South African entourage with the ANC role players. This was negotiated, CODESA was negotiated a long time before CODESA was held. CODESA was just a talk show.
100%.
To keep the people busy. Real interesting recorded meetings that were held was between the Rothschilds and also George Soros. Or mentioned, you must know that there's red lights.
Yeah.
So the moment when the ANC associated, Oliver Tambo associated himself with the Rothschilds and the George Soros, you must know that there was something. We now see it clearly in the way of how, as we say in the concert, how was it possible for the Rupert and Oppenheimer families to have been consulted on the 23rd, before the 23rd of March, when the President Ramaphosa announced for the first time the lockdown to the rest of South Africa. What made them so special? We want to know what made them so special, because he has mentioned their names specifically in his speech when it was announced. People, this is very important. Go back to that speech and ask yourself, the first time the lockdown was announced, how could the Rupert and Oppenheimer knew about it in order to have pledged, which was never a pledge. They one was that it was not a pledge, it was a pledge to borrow and put the South Africans in more debt that were given, and we are just sick and tired of this charade that is going on in South Africa. There's something very much interesting going to happen today in another letter that we're going to send. I'm just going to just mention that. Just have a look at what is going to happen today. What is going to happen today in the letter that we're going to send out will be actually more important than the letter that we have actually written to the minister, or to the president. And many people have, or some people have queried and said, especially English-speaking people, I want to categorically say that Liberty Fighters Network has got absolutely nothing against the British people. We love the British people because they are being oppressed in the same way that the people of South Africa are being
100%
oppressed.
Correct.
So the royal family of Windsor is the cancer that we need to get rid of in this world. The quicker we can get rid of the royal family and their hold on South Africa through their agents, the so-called Stellenbosch mafia. People don't realize this, but in Anton Rupert's, Johan Rupert's Richmond, both Maria Ramos of ABSA and the wife of Trevor Manuel, together with Lord Renwick. Lord Renwick is a cancer. He was the ambassador to South Africa during the so-called transitional period for Margaret Thatcher. He knows exactly what is going on in this in South Africa, and and even people like Julius Malema have been caught on camera and on photo that he had meetings, and they confirmed that they had meetings with Lord Renwick and his entourage. A nice word that I'm going to use very, very often. But then you've even got the of Wellington. There's another representative of the royal family. It's not the Count of Wellington. I'm just talking. But there's another representative of specifically the royal family on the directors, on the board of directors of Richmond as well. So it's not only Lord Renwick, but it's also the. Is it the Count of Wellington? I'm sorry, people. I just quickly mentioned the name. But in any event, it's clear that the Rupert family is not on the side of South Africa. They have been pushing the agenda of the British royal family for all the years. Yeah. And unfortunately, we need to. It's not the British people that we are against. It's the royal family who have stuck their noses in South Africa and all other Commonwealth countries in such a way that we need to realize that we need to split. We need to finally come to the conclusion there's a massive support currently in Britain itself for the disbandment of the royal family. Many people have realized that the royal family is nothing more than a organized criminal cartel.
Jacques Labuschagne says Duke of Wellington.
A Duke of Wellington, that is correct. Yeah. No, thank you, Jacques. So the other thing is that if you know, and what I've done in my Heritage Day speech was I've also just put some pins in the flesh, in the sense that we want the royal family to return the Cullinan diamonds to South Africa. Now people will ask, no, why are you why living in the past? No, it's very much important.
I agree.
Because those diamonds is a symbol of power. To have the largest diamond, and anyone who knows the actual history behind the royal family and everything will realize that a diamond is a symbol of enlightenment. And the moment when I tell that, then we know who we are talking about, and especially when we are religious. So in order to hold the biggest diamond and the biggest cluster of diamonds in your possession is a symbol of power. So if we are going to tell, and unfortunately people, Jan Smuts and Louis Botha were not our friends. Yeah. They were actually the people who betrayed the Boer nation against the invading British during earlier last century, and they were put in their positions in order to facilitate the power of the British monarchy in South Africa. So if we are going to say that our diamonds have been stolen without our permission taken from our shores to the British royal family, and we want them to be returned, obviously that will create a lot of stirring within the royal family as well. Yeah. And we're going to pursue that. We honestly don't care of those people who are telling us that the royal family are so nice and they love this nice queen, but unfortunately they're all witches. Sorry for saying that, but that is they are the reason why we are in this mess, or they are a very much big reason why we are in this mess. So if we can start dissecting them from us, we will go far. And the next letter that we're going to send today is also targeted at the royal family, although people will not realize that from immediately reading the letter that we're going to send, but it's going to be very interesting and basically a follow up on what we are already busy doing with the letter to Ramaphosa. And then I just want to say, finally, we have now we have now a group of medical experts and scientists in our Liberty Fighters Network. We are now busy formally to work on a court case that we're going to launch very, very soon, in which we going to the PCR testings that are currently being used to identify the cases. We've said that this is enough. It's time that South Africa and the court, although we believe that the judiciary is most probably captured, but it's just to get the message out there. That is the main thing. We don't care whether we're going to win or lose these court cases, but it's all about the exposure and for people to realize that there are people out there who's concerned about what is going on. We need to get a court order, and we're going to apply for a court order to declare that the PCR testings that are done is not as accurate as people would like to believe, and that those PCR testings cannot be used for diagnosis of COVID-19, if it exists or not. That is our next step as well. So we, from the Liberty Fighters Network side, we're busy with a lot of things from our side, and people, you always see me. I've become the face. Maybe it's because that I'm the more talkative one. But people, we are backed. Liberty Fighters Network really has got thousands of people supporting us, and we are constantly engaging with experts and so many professionals. So we've got a massive team all over. We've managed to get people overseas who's part of our structures as well, and what we are doing. So we've got a lot of backing from our side as well, although we don't have the money yet. Which we don't care at this stage, because we're not after the money, unlike certain other movements who are actively going out with fundraisings and people trying to put money into their baskets, but they have still not do anything. That is the key thing. People know now that Liberty Fighters Network is doing what they say they are doing. 100%. We are actively there and in the faces of the problem we are experiencing. I don't want to badmouth any other organization, but the fact of the matter is that if you cannot come to the point where you say that we are launching a court case, or we are busy actively doing this for these reasons to get us out of this lockdown, forget about people. Maybe I must just say this. I have lost a very dear aunt and uncle a couple some almost 2 decades ago. It's a long time, but it was a very devastating blow to our family. in a format. They were literally butchered with gravels, and the only thing that they stole on the farm was firearms.
Wow.
So I've had my share of farm murders, and unfortunately, we are saying that the issue about the farm murders in South Africa is unfortunately used to divert our attention from what is really happening. Called on social media in specifically. Yes, about farm murders, but I'm more worried about murders in general in South Africa.
Yes.
There's a greater chance of being murdered as a white person living in a town and in an urban area than a white person living on a farm. So the only reason why these people, and I'm mentioning this, I don't care what AfriForum and Steve Hofmeyer and all those dudes are going to tell me, but I'm worried about the actual reason why they are pushing these farm attacks in such a way that they are doing it. My only reason why I believe they are doing this is actually to create fear amongst white people to give up their farms so that BE investors, whatever, can actually claim those farms eventually. It's just a method of expropriating land from the farmers itself. That is my honest opinion about this whole thing, and we need to go out and be concerned about the general murder rate. And unfortunately, there are more black on white murders than there are black on white murders. Pro rata wise, it is exponentially more black on black violence than there are actually black on white violence. And these institutions are merely instigating and pulling their own agendas in order to create racism amongst our people. They want to create fear. That is the main thing. The moment when they create fear amongst us, then they actually control us. So the moment when they say, "Oh, there are so many farm murders going on," at the end of the day, comparing to the murders in the same period of white people in the urban areas, it's exponentially less than those on the farms. And I'm not saying this because I don't care about farmers. I'm saying this, be careful of the agendas that we are following. That is so critical. We must open ourselves to investigate. The moment when there's news, we must go and clarify that news on our own. We must go out and investigate it ourselves. Don't follow the most popular belief. Go out and do your own investigation. With that said, yes, thank you, Des. I know you're also a very busy person. I'll keep you updated.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I could actually just listen to you and give you a platform to speak, because you echo my sentiments. You know, I speak about the royal family in my meetings. I speak about the misunderstanding around farm attacks, the ulterior motives. I actually go into a lot of detail, and I bring it back to an international plan to take our liberty away, because that is
definitely
what's happening. And the people that don't see it don't understand. The viewers have gone way over 300, Reyno, so it's a lot of people that have come on to watch this early in the morning, and I really want to thank everyone that's done that. I know you have a lot more to do, but I'm so glad that people could hear out of your mouth without me asking you the things that I say in my meetings. So the people can see there that what Reyno is doing, what I'm doing, we're doing the same thing. And Reyno is also saying, people, do your own research. When you get that WhatsApp message or whatever, if you can't verify, don't send it on. Just see it as information. And stop the spread of fake news, and firstly think why certain agendas are being driven. And you know, Reyno and I, we don't seek mainstream media. We actually do work on the ground. We speak to people face to face all the time. And Reyno, we speak to each other. I mean, I don't discuss everything we discuss with the people on this platform, YouTube, but there's strategy behind what Liberty Fighters Network is doing, and it's good strategy. And we need that strategy, and the people need to trust. They need to see who they can trust. And I trust Liberty Fighters Network. I trust you, Reyno, because of what you've done on the ground. There's a track record for what you've done. I mean, it's not a complicated thing. And when people ask me, who are you aligned with? I said, I align with nobody. I said, but I trust these people because they're doing the right thing. And that's important. I think it's very important that people keep on doing good things with the same understanding. And you know, I've supported Liberty Fighters Network. I will keep on supporting Liberty Fighters Network as long as you're doing what I believe in. And I really thank you for everything that you are doing personally. I know it's a sacrifice for you and your family. There's a lot of involvement with people continuously. I'm so glad that you have a medical team of people, and they are experts. I've spoken to some of these people. They are really great professionals in South Africa, and I thank you for actually wanting to take things to the court with an international mindset, because a lot of people just want to blame the government, the ruling party, and I tell them, once you do that, you've lost the plot. And I believe what you've done with your last letter is you're actually causing these people for the factions inside the ruling party to fight each other. And
that was the purpose, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And I believe that you're succeeding in doing that. Any last words? There's so many words of encouragement, Reyno, in the comments, lots of encouragement. And I know the people that watch my videos, they support you in what you're doing, and this platform will always be available for you. We've gone past 20,000 people now. It's unbelievable that there's people that believe there is a greater global threat, and
yes.
Are aware of the royal family and the influence and the Rothschilds behind the scene controlling everything that they do. And these families, which I've seen with my own eyes, influencing our government. You know, and I speak about this in my meetings. So I'm really grateful that you could say these things without me having to prompt you on your own, and for people to hear that. It's absolutely beautiful. You could go around the country and do exactly what I'm doing. You just don't have the time because you're actually busy in court.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Des. I've said this before. Thank you very much for people like you to spread the word. I've been also on other channels as well, YouTube channels, of people with similar interests and similar ideas, and I just go out and support or try to get exposure for not myself or for Liberty Fighters Network. We are trying to get exposure for the truth. Yes. That's all it is. And I've said this also before, that I'm doing this from my side as a father of two daughters, ages 6 and 11 years old. I know that if I don't do something now, it's them and their children who's going to suffer. We are not even near the tip of the iceberg. We are still climbing Everest. It's not nearly the end. We haven't reached the tip, and therefore we are urging everyone that people. I know that you got your liquor and your tobacco back. But the chances that this government can go back to any level that they're going to create still is very, very good. If we don't fight this cancer of the lockdown now, the lockdown embodies all our other problems, from gender violence to farm murders and missing children, and what you name, whatever you are concerned about,
Yes.
is totally embodied within COVID-19, which is a project that this whole new world order is pushing. And unfortunately, people like us are called conspiracy theorists because we don't follow the popular belief. But the fact of the matter is that we have seen this now, that the unpopular belief is starting to become the real popular belief. There's a direct swing towards people realizing that what we are fed in the mainstream media is not the truth. I've gotten rid of my television many years ago. I don't watch television news. I don't care about it. The moment when I hear something that is news, then I know that it is news and I must go and look it up for myself. That is how I know about what is going on around me. All the news that you are seeing on television and SABC, ETV news are totally, 99% of the time, it's actually fake news. Journalists are not for nothing called newsmakers, because many of them go out and take an image of a situation and turn it around in such a way to make it news. That is what they call newsmakers. And we need to go and evaluate the news that we are following, the beliefs that we have, and most importantly, don't lose your faith. Don't lose your religion. Go out, and we are now in times of, as I'm telling people in the Bible, we need to go out and read Revelations, go and read the book of Daniel. Even if those things have been told to or put in scripture many millenniums ago, those things are more relevant today than they were ever in our history before. So go out, go back to your religion, whichever it's going to be. I'm a Christian. I will always tell people to follow Jesus and what's in the Bible, but all the other religions. Go out and follow your religions, find yourself, and together we can, at the end of the day, move forward and bring an end to this pure evil that is currently happening.
And I think that's a very important point that you make there, Reyno, and it's probably a very fitting ending, that this is a fight of good versus evil. And no matter what your beliefs are or non-beliefs or whatever, if you don't understand that there is good and evil, then you can't be a part of the fight. I always tell the people, you need to understand there's good and there's evil, right and wrong. And you need to choose what side you want to be on at this stage, and liberty is what I choose, and I'm sure that's what you choose as well.
No, thanks. Thank you, Des. Really appreciate the time that you gave us. I see that we already 40 minutes or so in the call. Oh, yes. It's very. But thanks a lot. Really appreciate what you are doing, and also for all the supporters. We doing what we're doing with pleasure. No strings attached. No political affiliation. We've said it also that we want all 14 political parties in Parliament to go to and get out of Parliament. We don't trust any one of them. I don't trust any one of them. We need a physical new regime to take over this ANC regime. Otherwise, it's not going to work. The party system does not work in South Africa. We 100%. Need to create something. We need to create something new, something that is relevant to the coming of age, and also which embodies our traditions and our religions equally. and that is what we're fighting for.
And
definitely.
I can't say it any better than that. I fully agree with you, Reyno, and there's many people offering solutions for that, and we'll see how that pans out in future. But that certainly needs to happen. I'm sure that you will get involved in many different ways as you fight for liberty, to make sure that whatever solutions people suggest, that liberty is at the forefront of that, and that we can practice our religious beliefs and live a free life. Because I know for a fact that that freedom is being taken away. We're still in lockdown level 1. A lot of people forget this. There's no level 0. So people need to remember this. We're still in a lockdown.
Yeah, very bad. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day further. Thank you everyone for coming on to the stream. And please support Liberty Fighters Network. I know Reyno is doing this for the love of the country, but please go to their website, go and support them. They need your support. Don't back off. We need to continue this fight, or your livelihoods will be taken away completely. Thank you, Reyno. Till we chat again.
Thank you very much, Des. Have a nice day.
You too.